Lacan wrote the essay Beyond the Reality Principle in 1936. In this essay, Lacan explores how the human mind connects to reality, language, and truth. He also strongly criticizes the old psychology that was popular in his time. Lacan wanted to protect and build upon the original ideas of Freud. He believed that most psychologists of his day did not truly understand Freud's work. They had changed his ideas into something simple and wrong. Lacan starts his essay by looking at how psychology became a science. He, he focuses heavily on a theory called associationism. This was a very popular way of thinking in old psychology. Associationism stated that the human mind builds knowledge by simply linking different sensations together. For example, if you touch a hot stove, you link the feeling of heat with pain and learn to avoid it. Lacan strongly disagrees with this viewpoint. Associationism treats the human mind like a simple machine. It suggests that our thoughts are just mechanical connections between outside events and inner feelings. This view ignores the deep and complex nature of human experience. Old psychology did not recognize the true value of human experiences. It divided mental facts into two bad groups. The first group contained logical and rational thoughts. Old psychology tried to study these thoughts objectively like a scientist studying math. The second group contained feelings, dreams, beliefs, and delusions. Old psychology dismissed these things as unimportant illusions or simple biological side effects. They were seen as errors or glitches in the system. Lacan says this approach was completely wrong. Dreams and feelings have their own special reality. They are not just useless noise. They are full of meaning and should not be ignored by science. They are central to understanding who we are. Sigmund Freud changed the world of psychology completely. He did not ignore the strange things that patients said. Instead, he listened very carefully to his patients and allowed them to talk freely about their dreams, their childhood, and their inner feelings. Before Freud, doctors often ignored the patient's own story. They believed that patients could not know the objective truth about themselves. Doctors thought they knew better than the patient. Freud showed that the patient's words are the most important tool for a doctor. The patient is the expert on their own life. Lacan says that psychoanalysis is based entirely on the experience of the speaking subject. This means that the act of talking is the heart of the therapy. Through Freud's method, language becomes the main tool of psychoanalysis. Lacan emphasizes that human language has two different sides. On the outside, language is a tool for social expression. We use it to talk to other people in everyday life. We ask for food, share news, or make small talk. However, language also expresses our inner desires. It carries hidden meanings that we may not aware of. Lacan explains a very interesting puzzle about the human mind. He says that an intention can be unconscious even when it is expressed openly in speech. For instance, a person might say, "I am fine," but deep down they are very sad. At the same time, an intention can be conscious on some level while being repressed by the mind. This means a person might know something but actively push it away. This happens because human language is full of ambiguity. A person might say one thing but mean something completely different. People often use their thoughts to hide the truth or even lie to themselves. Lacan shows that truth is not something simple that we can find easily. The human subject has a very difficult relationship with their own truth. The unconscious mind speaks through slips of the tongue, dreams, and hidden signs. These are not random mistakes, they are clues. Therefore, psychoanalysis must decode language to find the hidden desires of the patient. The therapist is like a detective reading between the lines of what is said. Some critics argued that psychoanalysis was not a real science. They claimed that the relationship between therapist and patient was based on simple tricks and illusions. Lacan defends the scientific value of psychoanalysis. The setting of therapy is different from a standard scientific laboratory. You cannot put feelings under a microscope. However, he says its therapeutic action proves that it is real and effective. People actually get better. Lacan describes theory as a movement in two parts. First, the patient brings a broken, confusing, and scattered image of themselves. They feel lost. During therapy, this broken image is slowly connected to reality. Second, this image is separated from false external reality and restored to its true inner reality. This process helps the patient destroy their illusions. The real success of this process proves that psychoanalysis works in the real world. Psychology must look beyond the standard reality principle. Freud used the term reality principle to describe how the ego learns to adjust to the real world. It keeps a person safe by stopping them from following dangerous desires. For example, it stops you from stealing food when you are hungry. Many post Freudian analysts believed that therapy should just help a patient adapt to their environment. They wanted the patient to fit into society and be normal. They saw therapy as a tool for social adjustment. Lacan strongly rejects this idea of adaptation. He believes that human beings are fundamentally in conflict with their environment. We are in conflict with physical nature and we are in conflict with the social world. Society has many strict laws, rules, and expectations. These rules force us to hide our true desires. Being normal is not the same as being healthy. Sometimes the world is sick, and adapting to it would make the person sick too. The human ego is not a perfect coordinator of reality. Ego is actually built on illusions and projections. To explain this, Lacan introduces his famous ideas about the mirror stage. When a young child looks into a mirror, they see a unified image of their body. This image looks perfect and strong. However, the actual child feels weak, clumsy, and uncoordinated on the inside. They cannot control their body very well. The child identifies with this external reflection. This reflection becomes the basis of the ego. Therefore, the ego is born out of an illusion, something outside of oneself. It is a fictional construct. Because the ego is built on a mirage, it cannot be a reliable guide to objective reality. We cannot trust it completely. The true object of psychology is not the isolated individual mind. Psychology must study the specific reality of interpersonal relations. Human beings do not live alone in a vacuum. We only exist in relation to other subjects. We define ourselves by how others see us. Therefore, the concepts of psychology should not be subjective or purely objective. They must be relativistic. This means that everything in the human mind depends on relations with others and relations within language. A person's identity is shaped by how they view other people and how they think other people view them. Our sense of self is a social creation. In Beyond Reality Principle, Lacan reminds us that human reality is very complicated. We cannot reduce human psychology to basic biological needs or simple behavioral adaptation. True psychoanalysis does not try to make a patient adapt to a broken world. Instead, it helps the patient understand the deep language of their unconscious mind. It uncovers the secret desires that move beneath our everyday actions. By going beyond the simple reality principle, Lacan opened a brand new path for understanding the human subject. He shows that we are not just machines reacting to the world, we are speaking beings full of conflict, desire, and hidden meaning.